Hey, welcome back to What Self-Care Looks Like. I am Brittany Elliott. I am a self-care and mom life management coach. I help working moms create simple, sustainable self-care routines that help them reconnect with themselves and improve their overall wellness. You can grab a resource to support your self-care journey at backtoin5.com/resources. And today we are going to be talking about the mental load. And let me just tell you, I just recorded this episode and went to edit it and realized I had not had my microphone set up. So it was just complete silence. Mouth was moving, absolutely no sound whatsoever. So it's very on theme for our topic today. So obviously my mental load it must be heavier than normal. I have a lot of thoughts going on because I didn't even think during podcast time to turn on my mic. So with that being said, I'm going to be really sticking to my script with this episode in particular, because obviously there's something going on in the noodle that has my focus kind of drawn. And you might be thinking, well, maybe you need to rest. Like maybe this isn't the right time for you to be recording a podcast episode. But on the contrary, I feel very much inspired to be recording right now and to bring you this content right now. Like it feels right. It's just my mind seems like it's a little bit disheveled. So I'm just going to trust my past self who already wrote up the notes for me and not try to go off script too much, which I already have already. So let's jump into it. We need to change the moms don't need a nap. We need a break from messaging, because there are times that you certainly do need a nap. Just like there are times when you need to be away from your children and your spouse, and you'll need a break from the office too. And just sometimes you'll want to tell people no. Breaks are important, and it's okay to want them and to need them. And I'm gonna go off script really quick because I was looking at something earlier, and it was I believe she was a news anchor, and she was doing a segment about Mother's Day, and she was talking about, mothers on Mother's Day, what they want is, and she started talking about like alone time and breaks from making all the decisions and breaks from the kids, etc. And then she kind of came to and said, oh, that that actually wasn't in the script, type of thing. Like that's not what she was supposed to say. And so I went into the comments, because that's where all the fun is, right, in the comments. And there were people really dragging her, and a lot of the people who were dragging her were people who are not mothers, because a lot of people are asking, well, do you have kids? And then those women were like, no, I mean, I don't have kids, but I watch my nephews and my nieces and I work in childcare and all that, which is all fun and good. But the thing that we struggle with as mothers, as far as motherhood is concerned, really has nothing to do with the kids. It has a lot to do with the mental load of raising children and managing everything else. And that is why we are asking for these breaks. And we want them to look so much bigger than waking up early to spend time with ourselves. And we want it to look bigger than getting to go to the store by yourself or being able to take a shower alone. And I understand that we want them to be bigger, like more of those tangible breaks. But I want to ask you, like, what are you doing in between those opportunities for those breaks where you can go spend time in a hotel or take a trip with your friends? How are you actively managing your mental load? So you can manage your mental load in a way that makes your mental load work for you and in a way that makes it not overwhelming. So, number one, you need to know what is in your mental load so you can organize it. So write it down. If your mind is like mine, your list moves on a scroll that is similar to a teleprompter. So I see laundry, wash your car, make the grocery list, make sure your workshops are on your calendar, make sure auto payments went through, take a nap, call your mom, put Bristol's laundry away, text your friends. Did I send that email? Do I have my umbrella in case it rains? Did I put on deodorant? Plus, insert whatever random song might be playing in the background of my mind. So, my mental load oftentimes is a cluttered mess. And to slow the scroll, you should write it down. Next, determine which category, after you've written it all down, determine which category each thought goes into. So, what parts of my mental load can I control? What parts of my mental load are worries and anxieties? What parts of my mental load can I delegate? What tasks will I tackle today? Once you group your load into these categories, you can prioritize your day around these things. And the worries and anxieties may be addressed through a conversation with your spouse or partner about things that have been bothering or wearing on you. Or maybe these are the thoughts that you take with you into your next therapy session, which I definitely recommend you use a journal to take with you in your sessions because it's very helpful to your therapist, of course, but mostly for you to know exactly what you would like to address, or at least have a starting point to start your sessions with. So, on the delegation category, you will delegate out the things you can. And I consider curbside pickup for grocery shopping a form of delegation, since it takes me about 15 minutes to place an order and then I can pick it up at the grocery store on my way home from work. So it's really like, I don't know, 45-minute process when I do it that way compared to over an hour at the actual grocery store. So for me, like, those are the types of things that I recommend delegating. Once you do that, you'll be left with what you can control and what you will tackle today, which may end up having some overlap. Anything that doesn't fit into those categories, you can give yourself permission to let those thoughts roll away. You no longer have to monitor them. So maybe they will be there in your mind, or that song in your head will still be playing, but there's nothing that you have to do with that thought. So it's basically organizing your thoughts so that you can complete any task driven thoughts, separate out ones that are just really need to be addressed through your emotional wellness activity. And then the fun thoughts, the fun ideas that are in there, you can just let roll away. And this probably seems like an oversimplification of the mental load, but it really isn't. Your mental load is yours. So you should manage it, not the other way around. And you can be very productive when you do the internal work to quiet the noise of your mind. It may seem like a daunting task right now, but eventually it will be part of your morning or nightly routine. And in my group coaching program, Reconnect, we work with this concept of the B room. And the B room is the time when or place where you hear your thoughts the clearest. And for some people, your thoughts may rush in while you're in the shower, or your thoughts might rush in while you're driving in the car, or even just by sitting in the car and activating like that decompression part of the mind. For some people, it's while you're working out. Some people, it's like right before you doze off to go to sleep. And so understanding and identifying where your B room is what that is for you, that mechanism that really starts to encourage the overflow of thoughts, so that instead of you getting to, let's say, brunch with your friends, instead of you getting there and then being like, oh my gosh, did I did I pull those clothes from the laundry, or did I do sign-ups for soccer, or me, in this case today, not even realizing that I recorded an entire episode and didn't do my normal process of, setting everything where it needs to be. When you are taking advantage of your B room, you will make it work for you. And I scan my mental load in about 10 minutes, give or take, but I know it will take you some time to create the habit. So here's a helpful resource. So this journal, Sorting the Mental Load, is designed to help you take that ongoing task list from crippling to productive. So it has the exercise I just went through, breaking down the to-do list into specific categories. The prompts will help you stay on top of your mental load while you are developing the muscle memory to do it regularly. And again, you can access the journal and other helpful resources at backtoin5.com/resources. So really think about your mental load and how it shows up for you. I know that a lot of moms, a lot of women weaponize their mental load against their spouse, or they use their mental load as an excuse instead of expressing the fact that you have a mental load and thinking of ways that you can make it really support the vision that you have for your life. We are in control of our thoughts. We have more control than we give ourselves credit for. We can have a thought come into our mind and decide, no, I don't want to think about that. We do it often in meditation. We meditate, thoughts come in, and then we refocus on our breathing. So you can focus on the thoughts, the tasks, and things that are going to make you more productive and feel more at ease in your day. And I want you to remember that your spouse, your partner, they also have their own mental load. It probably doesn't look anything like yours, because even though we're raising our children together, our priorities are often different as far as how we're getting there, or our own priorities that we have for the week, because we're separate people. We're usually just really in sync with what we want for our children and how it works, and how we're raising them. But for example, with like soccer, let's say my daughter plays soccer, it's about to be soccer season, so it might just be on the brain. If y'all decide, you and your spouse or partner, that your children are going to be involved in soccer, who is the one who is going to enroll the child? Do you take the lead? Remember when we talked about having like weak boundaries? Have you created a habit where you take the lead on all registrations, and then you do it all, and then you get stressed out by it, and then you tell your spouse, well, all of this is what's on my mental load because then there's soccer and I have to register them? Or when you decided together, oh yeah, we're going to put the kids in soccer, did you say, hey, would you mind taking care of registration for this season? Because I've done some inventory on my mental load, so I've actually reached my capacity. Or there's something else that you want to be thinking about, and you're like, hey, it'd be really great if you could just take on soccer. So often we are, and I'm going on off script, so often we want our spouse to like predict what it is that we are going to need. So we have a conversation about soccer and we want them to just take the initiative and enroll the kids in soccer. But we are in a partnership. It's a relationship. So we need to have conversations. You have expectations of them and they have expectations of you. Maybe they assumed that you were going to do registration because you typically do it, and you were hoping that they would do it because you typically do it. We can avoid all of that miscommunication and resentment by simply communicating. And you can communicate better with not just your spouse, but everyone around you when you're really having clear communication processes with yourself. And sorting the mental load is one way that you do that and stay connected and grounded in what's going on up here. Before I let you go, mark your calendars for the Mother's Day series. I've interviewed 7 moms who are bringing you their stories about their motherhood journey, the challenges they've overcome along the way, how motherhood has impacted their goals, and what self care looks like for them. And the series will go live beginning May 6th. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for allowing me to be bonkers with whatever it is that's going on today with recording. But we got through it, and I appreciate y'all. And I'll talk to you very, very soon. See ya.